As mentioned, my name is Hannah. I'm Australian, and I know there's some Australians out there, so hello to you all. I am a senior social media manager at Picsart, and I am the content lead for all things Pinterest. It is one of my favorite social media platforms. I find it to be like a really super positive space. I feel like there's a strong sense of community, and I really feel like it allows anyone to grow. You don't need to be a big brand, you don't need to be a big influencer to be able to build your business, which is what we're going to share with you today. So, if you didn't know already, Picsart is a photo and video editing platform and creative community. With easy to use editing tools powered by AI, creators can advance their passions and create, customize, and share images and videos in minutes. On our platform, creators can make anything from brand logos and podcast covers to e commerce shop visuals, merch, trending social media content, and of course, loads of pins. So, since joining Pinterest in February 2019, we have created every type of pin that you can imagine and lots of them. Flash forward to today, we have a vibrant Pinterest community of over 8.8 million followers. This huge community is grown by giving our audience what they want, which is aesthetic trends, editing inspiration, and creative tutorials, which we're going to share with you today. So, Pinterest is one of the best platforms to promote your brand and get discovered by potential new customers. But I understand sometimes it's hard to make pins stand out and get pinned. And that's where Picsart can help. We make it easy for you to ideate, create, share pins directly from your phone or desktop. And if you're creating on mobile, you can share your final pin directly to the Pinterest app. From standard pins to idea pins and even video pins, our unique workflow allows you to create your own content with the help from our templates and replays, which we're going to touch on later. So, how can you put your best creative foot forward going into the new year? Today, we're going to be sharing 5 creative solutions that you can apply to your Pinterest strategy, and they're all easily doable within Picsart. And don't worry, you don't have to be a designer. The app is super intuitive and allows you to work smarter, not harder, making 2023 your best year yet on Pinterest. So, starting off with our first pin, which is fresh pins. As we mentioned, it's all about working smarter, not harder. So, the first resolution is all about making your life easier. Luckily, one of the easiest ways to grow on Pinterest is to create fresh pins daily. While that may sound like a lot of work, if you use our strategy, you'll be able to create pins quickly and efficiently. So, let's say you have a blog post and you want to drive as much traffic to that post. The best way to do it is to create fresh pins. These are pins that drive to the same post, but they have different creative and copy. So that means like they have a different image on the pin and also a different title. This also works perfectly for promoting any old top performing content that you may have. So, as an example, let's say you have a blog post about the most romantic spots, dinner spots in LA in 2021, and you've updated it and you want to reflect the new spots you found in 2022. You can refresh an old pin by creating 2 or more, where you swap out the old creative and update the text. This might seem a little overwhelming, but don't stress. A good ratio is like 1 blog post a week, which you would generate 4 to 5 different pins. And in the next slide, you'll see that this is all really easily doable within Picsart. So here we have a little tutorial where I'm going to walk you through how to create a fresh pin with the help of Picsart templates. It takes out the guesswork of creating perfectly designed pins and allows you to create and customize it to suit your brand's aesthetic. So if we just walk through here, you can see we're going to start off with a template. So you're going to scroll down. First, you're actually going to slide across and select Pinterest. And this is going to present to you all the formatted pins that we have. And then you're going to select your favorite here. We're going with this one. And now it's time to customize. So we're going to swap out the background. You can choose your own, or you can upload, or you can select one of ours. I'm going to go with this blurry one here. And then we're going to swap out the image. Again, feel free to upload your own. I love to use our image library, specifically Unsplash. And then we're going to swap out the text. Here you can use your own font or go with the one we've suggested. I'm terrible at choosing fonts, so I find templates really helpful when it comes to fonts. And then we're just going to customize it so the follower knows like what your pin is describing to them. So making sure that you are presenting the pin correctly. And there you have it. You've done a pin and you've created a fresh pin super quickly and easily, all with Picsart templates. So, key takeaways from this resolution: if you're like me and starting with a blank canvas is a little daunting, then I would suggest that you start with a template instead. Choose one that suits your aesthetic so that you can easily swap out the images, text, and background. If you want to start creating fresh pins, but you're worried about all the photos you might need, then I highly suggest that you take advantage of our image library. You can just type in a few keywords and then choose an image that will illustrate to your users what your pin is about. Okay, so we're just going to do a quick poll before we move on to our next resolution. And this is all about embracing idea pins. So we wanted to know from you who in the chat or who in our audience here is incorporating idea pins into your Pinterest strategy. Let us know. I'm looking at all the comments. I can see there's a few yeses here. I love idea pins. So do I. Yes, idea pins. Yes, 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 yes. So many. I know. I definitely idea pins for me in the last 12 months has changed our Pinterest game completely. If there is a few no's out there, don't worry. We're going to walk you through how you can achieve the best idea pins that are going to get views and clicks. So keep it coming in. But I can see everyone here is on the idea pin train. Everyone really loves to create them. Great. Okay, cool. So let's move on to our next resolution, which is all about embracing idea pins. If you are new to this type of pin, or maybe you're not too sure how to use it, like I said, it's going to change your life. For those who don't know what an idea pin is, it is a multi-page video format that allows you to create a story and engage with your audience. We love to use it in different ways, from creating unique pins, which we're going to share with you today, as well as recycling other social media content and then transforming them into idea pins. In just over a year, we have generated over 160 million impressions, and this is all thanks to idea pins. This is not to be confused by video pins. These are fully customizable. They sit on top of your feed and allow you to tell a story to your audience. They're a great way to show your brand's personality as well as teach your Pinterest community something new. So if you haven't tried them yet, then 2023 should be your year to try this pin format out. And then today we're going to share with you how we would create an idea pin for Pinterest. So what we're going to do here is show you a storyboard of how we would present an idea pin on Pinterest. So if you go to our feed now on Pinterest, you can see there's a mix of different formats. Some are pretty simple, but there's others that we try to weave a story in, which is what we're sharing with you today. So first things first is, and most importantly, is you want to start with an eye-catching and engaging image. And this is what's going to sell your pin. So here you'll want to make sure that you have an engaging title. You want to tell your audience what they're going to gain by watching your idea pin. The next few slides is where you can either show examples, inspiration, or maybe a step-by-step guide. In this instance, we're going to show a before and then an after. So going from this to this. And we have found this really works with our audience. It really entices them to want to click through to the final slide, which in this instance will be a tutorial. And here is where you would add finishing touches. So you would add music from the music library. And I know Pinterest has just kind of updated their music library. So now you're kind of seeing trendy music, which I also think helps with the overall feel of the idea pin. And then you'll also want to make sure that you write a thorough description. This is really important, and we'll touch more on that later. So, key takeaways from this resolution is to start with an engaging image and informative title. This is what's going to sell your pin. So, ours is pretty straightforward. It's product content using shadow masks. So, the user knows what they're going to get when they watch this pin. Also, make use of Pinterest tools. So, they have interactive stickers now. As I mentioned, they have music library. It's a great way to bring life to your idea pin. And then also you want to make sure you go into detail about the IT pin itself in the description area. This is going to help you with SEO and also encourage saves. On to our next resolution, which was all about defining your aesthetic. As creators, we know it can get a little overwhelming when it comes to create a lot of content at once. And one of the easiest ways to overcome this is to establish your own aesthetic. So, whether it's brand colors, a neutral color palette, or a particular font, once you're able to establish your own style, then it's a lot easier for you to design your own pins. It also lends a sense of uniformity to your pins. So your account looks very cohesive. And then if someone sees your pin on their feed, it ups the chances that they might recognize it and then click through. We know the term aesthetic can be quite a general term and can often be hard to define. So, a great place of where to start is to actually go to Pinterest itself and type in keywords related to your field. So, for example, you're all about finding thrift vintage items in and then what I would do is I would go to Picsart. I'm sorry, I would go to Pinterest and I would say vintage blog store brand aesthetic inspiration. And this is going to bring up loads of aesthetic branding inspiration that you can pull from. And you can see from the example that we've shown here, all of these images share the same aesthetic. So they have the same kind of color palette, they share the same font. The images are kind of similar as well, and they also have similar design elements as well. So that's what we would call an aesthetic. So in this instance, what we're going to do is show a Picsart replay. A replay is an edit that you create, and then Picsart takes the steps you've used to create the edit and then saves it. And then you can apply that to any image. So you can kind of think of a replay as a preset. So this is a great way when it comes to defining your aesthetic because once you have an idea of brand colors, fonts, and the overall style, you can then save it as a replay and then you can apply it to all your pins. Okay, so let's walk through it. So starting with a replay, we're going to select try. And from here, we're going to upload an image. I'm going to go to, once again, the image library and choose an image that is related to our aesthetic. So it's very neutral. It's applied everything here, but now we're going to customize it. So here we are going to use the color dropper tool, and that is going to change the color of our font. And that just allows everything to look a little bit more cohesive. We don't need to change too much of the text here because it is a recipe and recipes are our thing. And then we're going to change the text here and just describe it. So it's a strawberry sundae, so that's what we're giving it. And then if we click next, we have applied a shadow mask, but we don't like it for this particular image. So we're going to scroll across and select another one. We're going to reduce the opacity and then switch up the hue. So again, it suits the particular image. And there you have a pin that suits your aesthetic. So, key takeaways, as we mentioned, the first step in understanding your own aesthetic is to understand your own aesthetic. And a great way to do this is to research other ones and then take bits and pieces that resonate with you. It's also important to note that your aesthetic can and will change, and this will happen with new trends, new seasons. So, don't feel like you're beholden to one type of aesthetic. Oops, one more back. Okay, Picsart Replay. This is what's going to capture your aesthetic and then create a preset that you can apply to all of your pins. Feel free to swap out the colors as well as applying different masks, filters, and stickers to suit the aesthetic of your particular pin. And if you have your own images, great. But if you're unable to shoot content for every single pin, which is super difficult, then I highly recommend you lean into our image library. It's quick, it's easy, and it's going to give your pin a professional feel. Okay, another poll, guys. Who finds writing pin descriptions time consuming and difficult? I am a social media manager. I am not a copywriter, and I have loads and loads of social assets that I need to create. And obviously, I need to post them, and they need to be SEO friendly, and they need to be funny sometimes, and they need to be descriptive sometimes. They need to be all the things. And, that requires a lot of brain power. And if you're not a writer, it can be very, very difficult. So I can see there's a lot of yeses, please help me with this. We're going to, don't worry. Yeah, mine tend to be pretty much the same, Susan. Yeah, I tend to agree. Sometimes if you have a type of, you applied some type of copy in one way, you tend to kind of copy it and use it for other pins as well. Yes, I can see everyone kind of shares the same sentiment, and writing pins can be difficult and time consuming. So, the next resolution, we're going to show you how we can help in that regard. So, our next resolution is all about adding dynamic text. So, this resolution is going to be twofold, and we're going to start with adding text to your actual pin. And while this may seem very obvious, it is super important to let your audience know what they're going to gain by clicking on your pin. You can really help with the visibility of your pin. And if you really want to make it eye catching, you can experiment with animated text. And so, this is what we're going to show you how to create. So, this would come up as a video pin on your feed, but it really is just an image where you add animated text. So here, what we're going to do is start with an image, and we're going to upload it to our video editor. And once it's uploaded to the video editor, we're then going to add some text. So here we are going to format it using a particular font. We're going to format it with so it sits nicely on the feed on your image, and then we're going to use the bend tool as well as select a color that suits your pin aesthetic. And then we're going to use the loop function, and that's what gives it that motion. I know this was a little fast, so don't worry. You'll be able to get this deck and you'll be able to review it. And we also have this pin, this particular pin, pin on our idea pins page. So feel free to go back there and have a closer look at that tutorial. But this is a great way to add motion. Again, it's going to be a video pin, so you don't need to shoot video content in order to have a video pin. So, the next part of this resolution is all about keywords, and keywords are vital to finding what you're looking for, which is why when it comes to writing your pin's descriptions, you need to be making sure that you're describing your pin accurately. You want to be making sure that you're using as much detail as possible, taking into account SEO keywords, and making sure that your pin shows up in searches on the platform. Pinterest is, after all, a visual search engine for content. So if you're not too sure what to write, you can simply start by going to Pinterest itself and then typing in similar pins and see what others have written. And what comes up in that search bar are really good keywords that you can incorporate into your pin. And if you're not too sure where to start, we love to use Quick Tools, and this helps with copywriting. And Quick Tools is something new that has just come into Picsart. So we're really super excited to share this with you. So you can find Quick Tools on web, and it's soon coming to the app. But basically, this is a free platform that gives you access to a range of photo editing and text tools, and now specifically AI-powered copywriting. So this new AI tool helps you skip the headache of thinking about what to write. So instead, you tell us a little bit about your pin, and then we take care of the rest. So if we walk through this little tutorial here, you can see we're on the Quick Tools page. If you scroll down, you have a few options. We're selecting Add Writer, where we're going to fill in the blanks. We're going with Decadence Desserts, which is the example we showed earlier. We're going to scroll down, and you can see we've got a description there. We've got a CTA. We're describing it as food. There's also a character limit there, so that helps with different social media platforms. We're going to go with this top one that was suggested. We're going to copy this one, and then we're putting it into our pin description. And there you have a rich pin that is filled with juicy keywords. So we're making sure that this shows up better in the Pinterest feed. So, key takeaways from this resolution, if you're wanting to get a little creative in the new year, then start by using a video editor to create pins. It's a great way to tell a more comprehensive story about your brand, idea, or project. Remember to make sure that your video pin has a cover and add text to it so your audience understands what your pin is about. You don't need to shoot video in order to create a video pin. As we just showed, you just need to add a little bit of motion, and this is enough to grab your audience's attention and ups the chance of getting more clicks and views. And once you have your eye catching pin, you'll want to make sure that it is SEO friendly. And this means using keywords that relate to your pin. So if you're struggling to write a comprehensive story, use our AI writer tool by simply describing your pin, and we will take care of the rest. So, on to our last resolution, which is all about embracing your smartphone. You don't need a lot of expensive tools to create quality pins. In fact, all of our Picsart social media content is shot just using our phones. And then basically, what we do is resize it for all social media platforms. And we're going to show you how to create your pin just from using your phone. So before we get into the tutorial, a really good thing to note is just essentials that you need for a photo shoot. So obviously in this instance, you'll want to use your phone. Your camera on your phone is perfectly fine. You'll also want a good source of lighting. In our tutorial, it's going to be a natural source of lighting, but again, like you just need selfie light. I know you can get them on Amazon quite cheap. You can just get the tripod with a little selfie light attached. We all have those, and they have come in handy. And then also, a tip is to have outfit changes with you. So you know when you're changing in and out of outfit, it looks like you're creating a series of content rather than all in at one time. And then also have some props with you that's going to help kind of help you out. Sometimes you're just kind of standing there and you don't know what to do, but a prop is really going to help you kind of work through that. Okay, so with this tutorial, we're going to have a little photo shoot. Basically, you'll see here, that's me. We shot this in summer. We've taken a few shots. We're uploading it to Picsart. You can see the bag is a little wrinkly, so we're going to iron it out with the remove tool. Then we're going to go to stickers. We're selecting this flower here. I'm going to use the blend mode, and this is going to make it more realistic on the bag, and also we'll erase it so it sits behind my arm. We're then going to apply a filter. We're going to save it and then head back into templates, again, scrolling around so you can get that Pinterest feed. And then we're going to select our favorite here. We're going with this one, and then we're going to customize it. So as I've previously showed you, swap out the image. We're going to give it a descriptive title. So DIY tote bag, and using Picsart stickers with Picsart stickers. So you can see that's very descriptive, and the user knows what they're going to gain by clicking on the pin. So here you could see we did a photo shoot, we uploaded it to Picsart, we used Picsart templates, and then we created the pin. So no other equipment necessary, just the phone. So key takeaways from this is gone are the days where you need professional lighting or a photographer. People want to see authentic content, which is why your phone, your tripod, and a few props are more than enough to create footage for your pins. After years of shooting content, I have found the more you try to incorporate into the shoot, the more difficult it becomes. So try to keep it really simple. A great way to do this is to have a plan, create a little storyboard. So each piece of content is planned out and you can stick to it. And then when it comes to the editing process, it's very easy to do. So I can't say this enough. Don't be shy. I feel like everyone around you now is creating content. It's what your audience wants to see. They want to see you and your brand. And what I love about Pinterest in particular is it is such a safe, positive, and friendly place. And it gives you the confidence to create content that people truly want to see. Okay, so we're going to just recap everything of our 5 resolutions that we went through today. Starting with fresh pins, you can create those in seconds. You just need to use our templates and then customize them. So replace your image, background, text, and you can do this to a series of pins that basically will drive to the same place. This is perfect for new content and then older, top performing content that you want to resurface. Also, embracing idea pins. This is one of the most engaging ways to connect with your audience. You can use Picsart to create 3 or more slides that you can upload as an idea pin. Remember that the first frame is the most important one. You want to make sure you have an engaging images and text, and don't be afraid to ask your audience questions in the comment section on this in the comment sections as well. So find your Pinterest aesthetic. A good place to gain inspiration is via Pinterest itself, looking for colors, fonts, and images that speak to you and your brand. Once you have an idea, then you can go into Picsart and create your first replay. And this will allow you to apply aesthetics to different pins and then upload them quickly and easily to Pinterest. So dynamic text, you can start with our video editor. You can upload an image and then apply a text and use our animation tool to add motions to your pin. You can also use quick tools and write dynamic pin descriptions. Our new AI ad writer is perfect for this. Just describe your pin and then we'll take care of the rest. And then finally, embrace your iPhone. You don't need fancy equipment. Now it's all about authentic content. People want to see the person behind the brand. They want to, use your phone to capture fun moments and tutorials. And then you can use Picsart to help tell your story and create your pins. So I am not a designer. I am a social media manager, which means creating content fast. And basically, I have the hope that hopefully I can make it look pretty. So I don't have I heavily rely on photo editing apps to allow me to do my job quickly and efficiently. So if you're like me, you don't have the luxury of a design team on hand, I highly recommend that you test out Picsart and see if it's right for you. So today you can start by taking advantage of our 14-day Picsart Gold trial. And this will give you access to everything we've mentioned and more. You can also check out our Pinterest page as well. Like we mentioned earlier, we have loads of idea pins on there, and they're going to help you inspire when it comes to creating your own content. So I hope you enjoyed our presentation. We do have some questions that I'd love to help answer as well. So let me just go into what we have. I know that some of you submitted some questions before, so let me bring that up. Okay, so a few questions that have been coming in. One question that I found and that was super interesting is what trends do you see from 2023? From a photo editing creator standpoint, we're seeing like a lot of minimalist editing. I've seen like a push from highly curated to quite minimalistic. And I think it's because now people are craving authenticity. I think you can still have your beautiful aesthetic, but I definitely think there's a shift. There's also definitely a big push for all things video and also long form storytelling, which is great. I think it's really cool to experiment in those types of areas. Another question is, how long do you typically spend on Pinterest posting? So basically, from my workflow is like I start at the start of the week, I'll spend most of my time on Pinterest and I'll spend maybe 1 hour batch editing all of my pins. And then I will dip daily back into Pinterest. I will post an idea pin and then check on how all the other pins are going and also check the performance and connect with our followers. I'll also, outside of Pinterest, I'll for other social media platforms, I'll go back into Pinterest and I'll use that platform to kind of search for any edit inspiration. That's been super helpful for me as well. Another question is, what is the best way to find current trending keywords and how many should we be using with our posts and captions? So I think we mentioned this earlier. The best place to start is Pinterest itself, and just, go to the search bar and enter keywords about your pin, as if you were searching to find it yourself. And then you'll see what appears below, and they will be your keywords. And then you can pop them in our AI writer tool, and then you can generate a description that way. There's another question about fonts. Are there plans to add more typefaces into Picsart? We are always adding new fonts, and with a Picsart Gold subscription, you'll see you'll have access to so many fonts. I know there's something up and coming. I can't share too much, but soon you'll be able to create your own fonts with AI. So definitely keep your eye out for that, because that can be something that can be very, very cool for your brand. Another question is, which are more preferred for better reach on Pinterest? Would you think it would be idea pins or static pins? I can't give it like a definitive answer, because I mean it's different for everybody's account. But from our experience, we've seen both, but we're definitely seeing idea pins having a moment, and they are particularly working well from us. I find that from just being a social media manager, anytime a social media platform releases some type of feature, that's what is going to get boosted. That's what is going to tend to pop up in people's feeds. So now that this is a new tool that has been brought out, I definitely think idea pins is a great place to start. So how to create content in high definition and edit them. So everything we share today will generate a high definition content, especially if you take advantage of our image library. You don't have to worry. Everything there is high definition and will be sharp on any pin. We also have tools that can sharpen your own images that you've taken, as well as filters and masks that you can kind of add to it to show off your own aesthetic. And then what do you look at when you're checking the performance of your pin? So we personally have different key metrics that we look out for, but for us, it's all about engagements and impressions. But we also take into account outbound clicks, how many people are clicking on our pin to go to like an app store or a blog, wherever we're driving them to. So I feel like it really depends on the pin itself. We also share a lot of wallpaper pins. So these itself aren't going to generate a lot of outbound clicks, but they should be generating a lot of saves. Also, how can we create carousel idea pins? So I think like the idea pin in itself, it acts like a carousel. So you're creating 3 to 4, even more slides. I know Pinterest likes you to generate as many slides as you can. So that will act like a carousel pin itself. Quick tools. Can quick tools be used in any other application like IG? I mean, you can use quick tools for any other social media platform. We just used it as an example for Pinterest, but you can definitely use it for any other social media platform. And then idea pins. Do we prefer images or videos? We like to have a mix. Like I said, if you go to our feed now, you'll see a mix. Some are very short, where we just show the image of what you're going to get, followed by the tutorial. But then we also like to mix it up. So we'll have a title page and then some examples of different ways you can apply, let's say, a particular effect. And then we usually finish off with a tutorial of how you would achieve it. So I definitely think as a user, I like to look at images and videos, and we definitely find having a mix of that works for us. Can I get all the features on desktop or only mobile? It definitely changes. So mobile and desktop, you do have very similar features, but I definitely think mobile is kind of where it's at. You're going to find everything super easy to get to, and there's loads of different ways that you can apply different effects and tools. So we are a mobile first kind of Picsart is anyway, but definitely check out the desktop. I know that when I am creating loads of pins, I often like to work from my desktop as well, just because I can get in and out very easily. So from a pin perspective, desktop is very, very handy. But again, mobile is very handy as well. Okay. I think I've kind of answered as many questions as I can. If I've missed something, please feel free to reach out to us. And I'm pretty sure we've shared like a support page, but you can contact us on our Pinterest feed, like when I'm posting idea pins, like more than happy to, if you jump in there, I can always answer questions as well. But I hope you guys enjoyed everything. I see some great comments there. So yeah, definitely so happy to share everything with you today.
Thank you so much, Hannah. This was so incredibly informative. Thank you for sharing these creative pin resolutions. I hope that everyone here really got out of this. Hannah shared so much valuable knowledge. And just to recap, we will be sharing this deck with you. So if there was something you wanted to dig into a little bit more, you'll be able to do that. We'll also be sharing the recording. The discount code that Hannah mentioned as well will be shared via email. And then also, if you're not a member of the community already, we have a link pinned at the top of the chat right now. Picsart is also in the community. So if you have questions, you can tag them there as well in our Pinterest partners page. Again, huge thank you to the Picsart team for being here with us today and sharing this incredible presentation. We look forward to more Pinterest partner events coming soon. So please make sure to stay updated in the Pinterest business community. And if there's other topics that you'd like us to cover for future events, please make sure to share that in our feedback form. We want to hear what you thought about this event, what you learned, and anything that we can do to help improve your future event experiences. So again, thanks everyone for being here today. Happy holidays. We appreciate you so much and looking forward to applying all of these creative tips in 2023. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.